What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. That back there is our show's vibe curator, Mr. Maverick. Um, you might be wondering, hey, Ryan, why are you wearing the defensive coordinator headphones again? You want to see why? You'll also see in this podcast. Oh, that's a spool of fly line. Yeah, them things broke in the middle of this episode, so that's why I had to come on here and film another intro, and just wanted to clear that up. So if you are wondering why my headphone is hanging off of my ear in this podcast episode, that is why. Um, just wanted to clear that up. I am ordering new headphones as soon as I get off this. But now for the episode, we got Mr. Eli from Byway Flyco coming on today. A super cool guy, and we have a really good conversation about multiple things in the industry. Actually, just an all around great episode. And these episodes would not be possible without our awesome podcast partners: Afueta Coffee, Free Fly Apparel, Bahio Sunglasses, Temple Fork Outfitter, and Loon Outdoors and Yeti Coolers. Now for the interview with Mr. Eli from Byway Flyco. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we do have an interview today out of South Philly. I'll kick it over to let you introduce yourself a little bit, Eli.
Hey, I'm Eli Robbins. I started Byway Flyco. I'm an experienced designer by trade, so that's kind of like I do a lot of like museum exhibits and immersive environments and like big interactive art installation kind of stuff. Um, but I'm definitely at a career inflection point where I need to be outside more. I think is
Yeah.
what I realized. So that's kind of that's a lot of why I started this fly company, and also there are a lot of personal reasons, and we'll get into them. But yeah, for the high level, I think that's kind of a good start.
I got you, man. So like, where and when did your fly fishing journey start? And like, have you always used a fly rod?
Yeah, so I've been fly fishing as long as I can remember, and also like bait fishing.
Yeah.
My dad is really who got me into it. Um, and I think he grew up in kind of a similar way. Like he grew up bait fishing. He grew up on a chicken farm in Flemington, which is like Central Jersey, kind of near here.
Okay.
And and then he moved to Miami. Like his family like packed up, sold the farm, moved down to Miami Beach, and had like this like kind of a crummy motel, I guess you could call it, like down there. So we grew up going down there a lot, and I think when he was younger, at some point, got really into fly fishing because of like all the opportunities in the Keys, but like
Yeah.
salt fly fishing. And then he moved up to Hershey with my mom, and that's where I grew up. So that's where I was born and grew up. So born
Oh,
and raised in
sweet.
Central PA, um, and Central Pennsylvania is like a hotbed of amazing trout fly fishing opportunities,
Oh, yeah.
and other types of fly fishing actually. Like Bob Clauser's from Central PA, of the famed Clauser minnow.
Yeah. Bob's the
He's actually
man.
like, what's that?
Bob's the man, dude. He
Bob's
he spends his winters in Florida, and one of my buddies, John, and I used to fish a spot in Florida, and Bob would be out there like all the time. And my buddy John like introduced me to him a couple times,
so
and
cool.
just salt of the earth guy, and just like being around him, he's got like an aura that follows him. It's
For
insane.
sure. Yeah, and like it was funny because I must have been like 5 or 6. Like they'd have like trout derbies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a little pond in Hershey where there's an annual trout derby for the stocking. So we'd like we'd go there with like some Mickey Mouse rods and stuff like that. So that was like the first taste of fishing that I got. And then I think I assume I'm just like making up what I think might have happened with my dad. He passed away, so it's like I only got like the memories to kind of like put the pieces together. But we would go to Bob's shop because it was like kind of the closest fly shop to where I grew up. And I remember him teaching us casting like on his lawn. So that was, he would like set up some little hoops and we'd like cast to them. And I must have been like 5 or 6. So I had this awareness of him for a very long time because it was like that was the fly shop, like that was where we'd go.
Yeah.
But then we'd like be down in Florida and we'd go to like the pier. I remember like the first time I caught like a big fish, it was like I think I must have caught like a snapper or something on like a little Mickey Mouse rod. Like we would go to this pier and get like we'd get like nice shrimp, like live shrimp. And we'd throw them on the hook and throw them out. And it must have been like a snapper, and then like a barracuda came, chomped half of it off. I'm like reeling it in, and I'm like, Dad, there's half a fish. Like, leave it in there. Yeah. And then we hooked the barracuda. We like had it on, and we weren't able to land it. But I just like that was like the first time I was like, whoa, like you can pull monsters out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, fishing's just been like, it's just been part of like like a lot of my like growing up family moments for sure. We'd go up like our big family vacation. We'd go up to Maine, to Rangeley, Maine.
Oh yeah.
On the Kennebago Lakes, and there's this place called Grants. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but yeah, we'd go up to Grants and stay there for a week, and it's just like you just like wake up. Yeah, there's like a dock and a boat, and you can like just go out all day.
Yeah,
and they'll cook them up for you and stuff. So that was like, it was just like every part. Like that was how we had vacation as a family. Fishing was involved. Like me and my dad, like the way that we bonded really was like going out.
Yeah.
We had this one spot. It's called Clark's Creek. It's in the middle. It's like in central PA. It's about an hour north of Harrisburg.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason he would go there is that there's a hatchery right there. So like, you knew that they were stocking.
You knew there were fish there.
Yeah, like for sure. And we go to that creek, and it became this like ritual thing. It was like,
yeah.
We'd go. I'm Jewish, so we'd go to synagogue on Saturday, and then like Sunday we go fishing, and not like every weekend, but like a lot, And it was always like go trout fishing. There's also an outdoor range, like all over. I don't know what it's like in North Carolina, but like all over central PA, there are these kind of like random, just like outdoor ranges that are just like there that you can go to. And so it was always like a good excuse to like bring the guns out and like just learn how to shoot or try out a new gun or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was always fun too. And then, part of that ritual was also like we'd go to this one like pizza shop and get a tuna sub, and then we'd go to this ice cream place. So he like it was definitely like the way that me and him, well, not the way, but like I would say it was like one of the main ways that I grew up like bonding with my dad.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, the fellow tuna sub enjoyer. Dude, I get so much crap, dude. Everyone's like, oh, like, dude, what's your favorite sub? I'm like, dude, I love tuna. People are like, dude, are you serious? I'm like, dude, yeah, I fucking love tuna, man. Like, it's the only sub I get at dang Subway if I'm there. I've had like this
Subway, yeah, for sure.
Dude, like I've had the same Subway order for like the last 20 years of my life.
I make a really good tuna salad myself. It's actually I posted it on my Byway TikTok, I think. So if you're ever looking for if you ever want to make it yourself, I'd make it.
Oh yeah. I put it up in like a little bit of chop. Like I got a chopper. It's like I kind of like a girlfriend does it, but it's like we got a chopper. We put the 2 cans of Bumblebee tuna in there, chop it up, throw a little mayonnaise in there, chop it up a little more. That hits. So good. Dude, but yeah, you're from Hershey, dude. I actually was concussed in Hershey my sophomore year of high school.
Playing hockey?
Not playing hockey. I was actually at a lacrosse tournament.
Oh, that makes sense.
Dude, I just saw a video of it the other day, actually. Some kid, like, at a lacrosse tournament was like, they have a giant, like, abandoned airplane hangar. that they turned into like a sports center.
Wow.
Like giant field inside of it. They got like turf fields outside. It's the coolest place I've ever played a tournament at. But I got absolutely laid out, went lights out on the field, and
Oof.
I had like the team doctor like check me out, and he was like, I don't know if you have a concussion, but he's like, I mean, I wouldn't play again. I ended up going to Hershey Park that night and
Oh.
riding all the roller coasters and playing the next day. And like looking back on it now, I'm like, that probably wasn't a great idea. I was definitely concussed. I was like playing in every single game the second day of the tournament. I'm like, damn, something doesn't feel good. Like just running around does not feel correct right now. And it's probably like, yeah, your brain was getting shaken around in your head at Hershey Park after getting absolutely laid out by a kid 20 times bigger than you. But it's like, well, I was like, you know what? You only live once. Might as well live it and go to Hershey Park while you can.
Well, you're young, you know. It's like, what you don't know. You don't. Nothing's that serious yet.
Oh yeah, right. But so what originally got you kind of like wanting to eventually start your own fly shop at like off this whole byway fishing thing?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few reasons. I mean, part of it definitely had to do with my dad passing away. He passed away in 2020. So it's interesting, like reflecting on that like relationship and that bond. Like, there's this thing about fly fishing with someone else where you're out on the stream and you kind of like need to be sort of far away from each other.
Yeah.
And especially when I go to the stream that we used to fish at, like there's just this like perception of like the person being adjacent to you,
Yeah.
like if you're fishing with them, you like kind of know in your periphery somewhere that they're like over there, like if you look down the stream far enough you might be able to see them, kind of thing. And that was interesting too, like as a younger person, like how far away we would be from each other, like, or he'd be like around a bend,
Yeah.
but I knew he was there, but I like couldn't see him or something. And so it's weird because it's like now when I fish and I'm like in the middle of a stream, I feel that again, and there is
Yeah.
something like very spiritually connected to it for me. So it kind of started with this, like, I want to connect to my dad more somehow. And then I started like tying flies again. And that reminded me of him too, because it was like I used to sit on his lap tying flies with him,
Yeah.
So it's like now when I tie flies, it also like I think just like having his presence around was definitely like one of the drivers. And also like the career path that I chose, like it is just tough. Like the work that I do and the level that I'm at, I've just hit this point where it's like there's an expectation of like 60-hour weeks.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I definitely don't want to do that. And even if I was doing that, this is not what I would want to be doing 60
for 60 hours a week. Yeah.
Like if I was working 60 hours a week, I want to have my own thing going on and
Oh yeah.
have a little more agency. So like it was a funny year for me on the work front because it was like I've had the best clients that I've ever thought I could have. Like I had just like these dream clients all year, and it was it was like hard to find motivation to do the work. I was just kind of like, I don't want this anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
like I think it just told me something. So then I started thinking, all right, well, how could I, if I was gonna like do fly fishing as a profession, or if I was gonna get in the industry somehow, like what makes sense? And I went down a series of paths. First I think I had an assumption that most people have about the industry, which is that like, oh, I'll just make like really high end stuff and sell it at a really high price point, and like maybe that'll work. Like I'll be more of a craftsman. Like maybe I'll make split bamboo rods. Was like the first thing I looked into, and because some of them sell for like thousands.
Thousands of dollars.
Like I never up until this year I hadn't even seen one like in person.
Yeah.
Because like you don't even like who's even out there like fishing with them either.
Yeah.
And I reached out to a couple split bamboo rod builders, sort of like in the regional area here, and they were like, don't do it. I was like, why? They're like, that's not where the industry is. Everything's in entry level right now. And I was
Yeah.
kind of like, huh, okay. So then I just kept doing more research. I was like putting this like brand together, this business idea. I'm like, well, maybe I'll go into reels. Maybe I'll like make reels. I was like, that's another high price point. But the entry level thing kept coming up, and I eventually found all this market data. So have you ever heard of the ASA, the American Sport Fishing Association?
Yeah.
So they have that like huge conference every year, ICAST, down in Orlando, and it's like, everyone in the fly fishing industry or adjacent industries like boating or
Yeah.
camping or
They all
anything
go
out there,
down.
they all go down. And they issue an annual report every year. So their annual report, it breaks stuff down pretty like line by line. You get pretty specific data because they're getting, basically, if you're a member, you report what your business is doing, and then they compile all that.
Yeah.
And I saw like the thing I was least expecting when looking at that report. When I got down to the fly fishing section, I'm expecting to see like, oh, it's all like high end gear. It's all like people with means who are much older. Like mostly like old white guys is kind of like the
Yeah.
assumption that I had, just because like that's who I usually see out fly fishing.
Exactly, dude. It's
Like,
like it's one thing. It's like, you know what everybody thinks about when we're like, oh yeah, we like to fly fish. It's like old white guys with money.
yeah, which is, I mean, I think was really true for a while.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think for the last like several decades at least, or really like the better half of this century, I think fly fishing has been this sort of like the bigger companies have been following along this like kind of niche, mostly white men with money,
Yeah.
and kind of like catering to that market. And what the data is basically showing is that like that contingency, it still exists, but like they're kind of aging out. Like boomers are
Yeah.
aging out of the sport, and they've bought almost all, if not all, of the gear they're ever going to buy.
Right.
Like they're not shopping.
For sure, dude. They're not like getting out and going to the Orvis store to go and buy the newest Helios for fucking $2,000.
They're like they've got their, maybe they'll like spend on one of those like bamboo rods or something.
Yeah.
But like, they might be buying some flies and might be paying for guided trips and things like that, but they're probably not buying like much gear in the same way that they had been for the last few decades.
Yeah, dude. I think like every old dude that I've like ever met is literally has like one rod that he bought when he was like 22 years old, and he's like, yeah, man, I got this Hardy when I was like 20 years old, and it's got this able reel. I got the whole thing for like $120. And he's like, and this is the best thing I've ever owned. And he gets it repaired like every year and still just like fishing the wheels off it. I feel like those guys don't, like, a lot of those older guys that I always talk to, they could give a shit less about any of the new technology. They're like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here and drown a squirmy worm on my delayed harvest stream, catch 60 fish, and have a damn good time doing it.
Right. And I think like the other part of it is like there's no shame in that.
No, not at all.
Like that can be more fun than chasing some mythical trout or something.
Exactly.
And yeah, like the more that I dug into fly fishing, it makes sense kind of why the perception is the way it is. Like, it
Yeah.
definitely, like it's sort of like started in Macedonia, eventually like made its way through like text to Europe, and like monks were fly fishing. That's like
Yeah.
where it started, and then eventually it became this like gentry leisure activity, and then you get into like the Victorian era. And like one of the things that's kind of hilarious to me about sort of like Victorian fly fishing, which is really where I feel like the sort of like basic principles of the tech that we use were ideated for the first time. It's like, like some kind of a reel and the idea of the line propelling itself out.
Yeah.
Using the motion and the weight of the line itself to propel it, which is the thing that differentiates it from other forms of fishing. I think and that's like a good distinction for people to think about, is like most of the time with fly fishing, I'd say that's true.
Yeah.
But if you throw if you're putting a big fly on a floating line, sometimes you are whipping you are using the weight of it to propel it out. But I mean, most people think of dry flies and when they think of fly fishing, or the concept of that. And the funny thing in that Edwardian era, or not Edwardian, in the Victorian era, is that you have this other thing happening, sort of particularly in Europe, where these adventurers are going out on expeditions and coming back with all kinds of funky specimens and crazy looking feathers.
Yeah.
And the sort of outgrowth of that are these beautiful, overdone, ridiculous Victorian salmon flies that are just for the chalk streams for salmon. And they are beautiful, but they're kind of it's beyond anything functional. They're not it's it's just to show off or something, having those flies. And and you compare what was happening with the feathers. These expeditions are coming back with these specimens, or they learn that oh, this island in this place has this bird that has a crazy feather.
Yeah.
And they go harvest all these birds, or extinct the birds and bring them back. And
then came whiting.
Right. But it's those feathers, they show up in two main areas. They show up in flies, and they show up in women's fashion.
Yeah. 100%, dude. I've never thought about it that way. Damn, dude.
And it's
women's fashion.
Right, you see all these Victorian dresses and a lot of hats with big feathers and plumage and stuff. So there's this interesting tie between sort of self-expression through fashion.
Yeah.
At least in that era, which I think is sort of that era of fly fishing is the thing that has sort of carried the perception through.
Yeah.
That's why I think there is this sort of cultural perception of the sport being this sort of wealthy gentry kind of thing. Meanwhile, in the United States, fly fishing starts in upstate New York, basically. Or at least that's the first recordings of it.
Yeah.
And it was more that kind of monk. It was coming back from this fashion thing to show off to more of a functional fly fishing.
Yeah. It's you got a dude out there wet wading
right.
in fucking jeans.
Yeah, and whatever you're wearing, and that gear was they were getting better at the reels. They were using bamboo rods. It would have been I think it was catgut was the line, and horsehair.
Yeah.
So that the line was the catgut, and the what would be now a leader and tippet would have been horsehair.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah,
too.
Once you think about it, it's you feel horsehair. You're it's definitely a tippet. You could use it as a tippet, 100%, and it's probably that was probably the strongest damn tippet that someone ever fished with compared to the shit now.
I would be curious, actually, what pound test horsehair on average comes out to.
That's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm sitting here, I'm what pound test would horsehair be? Because you think about it, somebody's talking about something rough, they're dude, it's rough as horsehair.
Hold on. I'm gonna ask the robot real quick, because
the robot.
We have the internet. Let's see. What pound test is horse? That's a really interesting question.
Yeah, dude, you got me thinking now. I'm about to dive down a damn rabbit hole later.
I mean, and the reason I'm bringing it up is 1 to 3 pounds. Heavy braids. I guess you could braid it. That's interesting. You could get up to 10 pounds.
Imagine trying to braid some horsehair to get a liter, though. Like, I mean, I can't even braid my girlfriend's hair.
Yeah, that makes me want to try it. Actually, now I'm like, that
Honestly, yeah, man. Like,
sounds kind of interesting.
huh. Let me go try and
So,
find a wild horse down the road here and cut a few strands of its hair off and see if I can fish with it. Ma'am, excuse me, you mind if I go up here and I cut like a chunk of your purebred horse's hair out?
yeah, I mean, it could happen.
Feel
I wonder what they do with it when they. Well, anyway, so I think there's like that perception, and then then there was this sort of like mid-century explosion that happened
yeah,
where fiberglass hits the scene, and you have like all these vets coming back from World War II who know fiberglass for all kinds of different war purposes,
yeah,
and start testing out like how do can we turn fiberglass into like a good rod, and like or they I don't know what the exact history of that is, but like I know like generally that's like how fiber rods came to be, or fiberglass at least. And that's where you start seeing a lot more fly fishing like in the South. At least
yeah,
like in the stuff that I've looked into. It was like around the mid-century is kind of where like in the Florida Keys, the big game, sort of like the tarpon and the what were the other ones? The bonefish
yeah. The
and
bonefish permit.
permit, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and you have guys like Lefty Lefty Cray up here in the Northeast with
yeah.
striped bass, and you got people down south like oh my god, what's that dude's name? I love that guy. Shoot,
Was it
Flip Pallet.
yeah, Flip Pallet.
Yeah,
And Chico Fernandez was
yeah,
down here doing all that stuff, dude. Like those guys are the pioneers of that stuff, man. It's crazy.
yeah. And like to me, they're kind of those folks. Bob Clouser, I would put in that
Oh
camp
yeah,
too.
100%.
Um, kind of yeah, like just kind of like thinking about fly fishing differently, and
Yeah,
sort of like breaking it away from trout specifically. I think it was like trout and salmon for a real long time, and then because of the technology, we're able to go after like bigger game.
yeah,
And the reason I'm like giving this whole historical overlay of technology is like it was a huge part of why I decided to start the business,
yeah,
and kind of like where I'm focusing the intent of the gear that I'm developing. Because and it's something that you actually just said a little bit ago about how like these old guys now are like they don't really care about the tech anymore.
yeah,
Like they're kind of like back into the love of it.
yeah,
And I remember seeing that with my dad too. I remember him; he was like real tech. He was getting all excited about like all the graphite rods and all this and that.
yeah,
And then there was a certain point where I think like that stopped being fun and interesting, and it was like he just only wanted to go to like the tiniest little streams to catch wild browns.
yeah.
That was like the thing that started happening. Like
Sorry about
really.
that. Yeah, dude, it broke my
Oh
headphone.
no!
You know what this is good for, though? I mean, we keep Zapagap around. I record on my we're gonna get a little MacGyver action here in a second.
I
Hold
mean,
on.
it's always true with fly tying too. It's like
Oh yeah,
I use a lot more UV resin and super glue than I would care to admit.
dude, for real. I'm about to legitimately. Hold on. If I could get the dang wire down in there. I needed new headphones anyway, but like I liked these things and they were cheap, as we're noticing now.
Any chance you got a spare set of these?
I'm about to uh I'm just gonna grab an extra set if I can find my extra headphones.
I
I
mean,
think
can
they're my old
you?
Xbox Live headphones that I'm gonna have to
Oh,
switch
cool.
into.
Or you could go like one ear like a DJ.
Yeah, well that's what we'll do. All right, now we're cooking. We're just gonna run it like this. I would have loved to seal that up with a Zap-A-Gap, but
On the
it's just
fly.
yeah, dude, hit it with the blue light, and this is gonna be a fashion statement here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking. We're talking about talking about not getting caught up in the technology, and now we're just gonna
Yeah.
one ear it right here.
I like cursing.
There
Man.
we go. All right,
There we go.
keep it
If it
back there.
works, man. If it works.
Fashion statement. Every podcaster's about to start rocking one ear headphones, and they're just gonna rip the wires out of it.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah, man, it's a cool thing now. If anyone gets on this thing, trace it back to me when the one ears. It's like one strapping in 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
was definitely one strapping it as a kid. I don't know.
Oh yeah, dude. I was definitely one strapping it. Damn, dude, I'm pissed these things broke. I actually liked them. My girlfriend got them for like $15 for my birthday.
Oh man, I'm sorry, dude.
It's all good. We'll figure it out. But
Oh,
we were talking about the gear that you were making.
yeah. So anyway, like all this technology was like super interesting to me. Like whenever I get into like a new project of any sort, I kind of go on like a deep dive. Like I kind of want to like understand, the context of everything. And like it was cool to find out that Orvis is really the person who developed the click and pawl
Yeah.
style of reel that we're all like really familiar with. So like the idea of a reel like clicking as you're, it has that like ratcheting kind of sound to it,
Yeah.
is Orvis, which is like I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was like a innovation from Orvis specifically.
Dude, I didn't even know that until you just told me that, honestly.
It was super cool. So
Yeah.
and then you have companies now like Able who have like these very beautiful, extremely beautifully machined reels that are effectively the same as like that original Orvis click and pawl too.
Yeah.
It's a really simple mechanism, and it's effective. And I think even with your headphones right now, it's like
Yeah,
even if
right?
it's broke, you can still use it. Like, and yeah. So I was trying to think about. I was kind of taking all that historical context and like how the technology has evolved and sort of like what does that mean? Like, because we're kind of at the like apex of performance right now.
Yeah,
And,
100%.
like it's never been about that kind of, at least for me. Like it's never like fly fishing has never been about like having a super high performance rod so that for
Yeah.
me it's always been like it's like a reason to be outside and like a reason to stand in the middle of the stream and like connect with the ecology and like bond with somebody and have like time like alone together.
Yeah, dude. I think like the more and more I fly fish, and it's like, yeah, it's nice stuff. Good. Does it work? Yeah. But it's like I'm way too hard on my stuff to be spending, say, like the $1,200 on an able. To where it's like if I drop it in the river, I'm gonna feel like, oh well, there goes the $1,200 I spent on that reel. But it's like at the same time, if I'm gonna spend that much money on a reel, guess what? I'm gonna use it. It's not gonna be like a glorified paperweight. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna sit there and be like I know people that fish ables, but it's like I just don't have that kind of money to shell out all that price tag for a reel that I'm gonna beat the piss out of. It's the same thing as like hardy rods and stuff like that. It's like I can do. I was a big proponent. I was a big fan of the Bass Pro Dogwood Canyon. $80. If it breaks, I can bring it back. I can go and hand it right back in. They'll be like, "All right, man, go and grab you another one off the rack." It's
Yep.
like sweet. It's like I get something hung in a tree and somebody else has that rod and it shatters in two. I can just be like, "Hey, broke it. I broke it on a fish."
Yeah.
Boom. They're like, "Go and pick you out another one."
Yeah. And I think that's like the way more accessible way of thinking about it. It's like,
Yeah.
and actually, like that experience is part of what got me on this whole path too. It's like, my dad passed away, so I had his gear, or some of his gear anyway. And he had this like beautiful, graphite 3 Sage 4-weight
Yeah.
that was his like coveted rod. And I only fished with it like after he passed, honestly, like because it's like the one that he was always using.
Yeah.
And not a cheap rod either. I mean, it was from like the early '90s, so like we've been in the family a minute, but like it was an expensive rod at the time for sure, like a very expensive rod. And um, it must have it either had some kind of a defect or there was some like small impact that had happened to it. Probably this was like maybe the second time I went out to use it. And it was actually the same day for the first time that I caught 2 wild browns for the first time.
Yeah.
Like I was out in Valley Creek in Valley Forge where the water's cold enough for it. And I found this like I just like bushwhacked back to this like middle of nowhere part of the creek. And I just saw this like, it was one of those spots in a stream or a creek where like it splits around an island and kind of comes back and then reforms.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oof, if there's wild browns, they're hanging out in that like little pool over there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like throw some nymphs and see what happens. And just like caught 2 in a row. High on life after that, like made my year. And then I'm walking back and I see some like carp or something, down or upstream, like from where I was. And I was like, I was like on my way out anyway. So I was like, let me see if I can just like
Get one
an
bite.
interest from that guy.
Yeah.
And so I just pulled a line out of the tip of my rod, snaps.
Oh.
Just like pulling it out,
Yeah.
And then the reality of all that hit me. I'm like, oh fuck, like this is like my like I can't afford this.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I gonna do now? And I like, they have a lifetime warranty and stuff. Excuse me. And I call it. I need to like ship it back, but it's like they may honor the warranty, they may not. If they don't, it's like a $200 repair. I'm like, I barely have that to like, that even that feels kind of like a stretch after like paying for the shipping both ways.
Yeah.
It's still broken off. We'll see. But
that's one thing I think companies need to like really assess this year is warranty. Dude, like if you break a rod and you have a lifetime warranty, there shouldn't be a stipulation on it, Like there should be like someone was willing to shell out all that money to buy that rod to begin with. If it breaks, guess what? No questions asked. You should be able to send it in and they send it back. It's a lot like that with sunglasses too, Like there's a bunch of companies that like I wear Bahios and they're like, no questions asked, like just send us a picture. And they're like $80 to repair it. It's better than shelling out $350 for a new pair of shades,
Yeah.
And like they're really good about that. And I think a lot of these companies kind of have to start looking at that too. To where it's like, you know what? Somebody was loyal enough to walk into a store, spend their hard-earned money on our stuff. If it breaks, guess what? We should be able to send them one back. Even like, I mean, I could understand if if you were kind of like a knucklehead and left it under your mom's car when you were like 10 and she backs over it and it's like something like that. But it's like if it breaks in battle, as I should say, if it breaks in battle and it's not really something like too crazy, like honor the warranty and just send them back, or at least like if you don't make the rod anymore, go back and be like, all right, I'll give you like a credit for the cost of that rod. You can go onto our website and buy another one. Like this is our newest one that we put on the shelves in place of that one that you had, and it's crazy because it's like I see it every day on like fly fishing forums where someone's like, oh yeah, like I got a pinhole leak in my waders and they won't honor my warranty. What one should I go out and buy now? It's like, dude, it's a pinhole leak. Like, I mean, given like, it's pretty minute compared to like having the your seam, like the seam rip at the crotch or something like that, and you got water pouring into your waders. But like, you should be able to call up a company, and like Patagonia is really good about this, where like especially with their waders, where you're like you call them up and they're like, send them in. We'll send you another pair back, like no questions asked.
Yeah,
And I think that's like the way that a lot of people are starting to look at this stuff now, which is kind of good because it's like you want to get more bang for your buck. And that warranty, if you have a good warranty, it's like I'm going with a lifetime warranty. Send your stuff back. You send one like right back to me after. I'm going with one like that rather than a nice like a $200 pair of like mid grade waders from another company. You know?
totally. Yeah, and like I know LL Bean is like the one that comes to mind with that
Yeah,
too. It's
LL
like
Bean's awesome.
like theirs is like you don't even need proof of purchase. Like just
Yeah,
send it to us. If you have it, send it to us and we'll replace it. And
do
that like
so. I have one of the LL Bean Streamlight 2 rods. It's a 4 weight. It's like a 7.6. I freaking love that thing. They've went away from warranting their rods now though. Like their rods don't have lifetime warranty, dude. But
what?
they've made them just like absolute battle sticks. Like
Okay. Well,
I've put mine through the ringer, and I'm talking like, dude, I've done some questionable stuff with mine. Like hung them up in trees, like accidentally dropped them on like straight up like concrete, and they haven't broken. And dude,
yeah.
like I was telling you earlier, I'm so hard on my stuff, but dude, like LL Bean to this day though, for like waiters, clothing, anything like that, they have the best warranty out there.
Okay,
Like
yeah, I haven't had to return anything in a long
I
time.
haven't either, dude. Like LL Bean's just one of those companies that's tried and true. And it's
Yeah.
like a lot of people are like, oh dude, why do you wear a lot of LL Bean stuff? It's like, dude, I've been wearing LL Bean. My mom's been dressing me up in like an ugly LL Bean sweater since I was like 4 years old. Like, I love LL Bean stuff, even if it is an ugly sweater. But it's like, dude, their stuff's just awesome, and they stand behind it, which is cool. Like, you know what? If you broke it, like, it was probably a defect that, like, a wear and tear thing from the factory, and they'll send it
Yeah.
back. And you're absolutely right, though. Like, I'm glad you brought up LL Bean because I do love LL Bean.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's like, when I thought about like what kind of brand do I want to make, it's like more like that, it's
Yeah.
like the comparison I always think of is actually like Sears,
Yes.
like Sears tools from like the 70s and 80s that were just like built like a brick shit house and like you could just like
Yes.
chuck them across a parking lot and then they would still work like totally fine and like look pretty good and
Yeah.
like all the Craftsman series tools like
Oh yeah,
those.
dude. Some of that old skill stuff's good too. Like my dad
Yeah,
still uses like a corded skill drill.
yeah,
And dude, he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I've had this thing since I was like 20 years old. He's like, I'm not getting rid of it. And he's still using
no,
like, he's not, dude. The man's just not gonna go over to a brushless drill. He's like that old dude that's still gonna be throwing like a rod from like the 1960s. The dude like has the same Timberland boots that he was shoveling snow with when I was like 6 years old.
I
The
love
dude
that.
just does not like changing.
Well, and I think that's kind of like that's part of the gear decision on my end too. I am having to like sort of determine between what I can sort of like afford to purchase to resell because like everything I'm doing right now is like through basically they call me OEMs, like original equipment manufacturers.
Yeah,
Um, but like within that, there is like a huge range of quality that you can choose from, and then there's a range of like profitability that you determine.
yeah,
Um, and that's what I'm trying to like really thread the needle with this brand because like getting back to something earlier, like the market data from the ASA, what it pointed to was really surprising.
yeah,
So part of it was that like boomers are aging out. The other part of it was that like the market's still growing. So like where is it growing? It's growing all in entry level gear and it's growing very diversely. It's
yeah,
like very Latino, a lot of women, a lot of people of color, a lot of queer folks, a lot of like bass fishing crossover. So
yes,
there's just like a ton of growth in the entry level gear area. And
yeah,
like not and very like all the companies have entry level gear, but they don't make it in the USA. And
no,
and they're all getting it from like I like traced it back. They're all getting it from like the exact same manufacturer in China.
yep,
And then they're repackaging it, throwing their label on it, charging a huge markup on it. Like not a typical markup, like a massive markup.
yeah. Do like $100, $200 markup.
More.
Yeah,
More more like a $300 to $400 markup. on the entry level kits.
Oh yeah.
So that kind of like both made me frustrated, but then it was also like, well, there's this huge gap. Like there's this huge market gap for entry level gear because it's like your options are you can get bottom bracket at Cabela's, which is like nothing to snuff at,
No.
or like Walmart, which is even worse. It's like you can go get those graphite rods at Walmart. There's one for like $40 and there's one for $60, and they're like they work. Like I
Yeah.
bought one just to like make sure I knew what the quality difference was.
Is it that Cortland Fairplay rod, I think they sell at Walmart now? I know they sell the Fairplay at Walmart up in
Those,
Brevard. I walked in there.
I think so, yeah.
I think it was a Fairplay because they all there's like stuff like their leaders and stuff like that they're carrying in Walmart are like I want to say it's Cortland Fairplay stuff. And it's like I bought some of it just to like try it out and stuff. It's actually decent stuff. Like
Okay.
and I know the Fair Play rod, like I've had a few buddies buy them just to like check them out and just like have something in the truck.
Yeah.
They're nothing special, but it's one of those things
Right.
that's like it'll get the job done, you know?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
And that's literally like I have like a little Tinkara rod that I keep in the glove box, and then I like it's like a very small collapsible one that I've definitely caught fish on, which is like kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
It must be like 5 feet long max. And then I have this, I have like whatever the cheapest one at Walmart was. I don't remember what the brand was honestly, but I just like keep it in the back of the car, just to have
Yeah.
some.
It's one of those things, dude. Like I think you're gonna see a lot more of that, dude. Like what you're talking about there is like the entry level stuff. Dude, like it's really cool to see too. Is it's like I've been out fishing before, like up here in the mountains, and the lady walks in to the right of me and she starts like asking questions. She's like really, really like interested in what's going down. And she like really was interested, like actually interested in learning. And I have like a bunch of buddies that are guides and they're like, like guiding women is way easier than guiding men because they're just like way more inclined to like listen and actually learn. But the problem, like where I felt bad for the lady is so like if someone's getting into fly fishing, like a lot of people only know one fly fishing brand in store and it's Orvis. I'm talking, dude, like I felt so bad. The lady literally walked into the creek. Orvis waders, Orvis boots, Orvis Helios rod, Orvis like everything. And I looked, I'm like, dude, like she went to the Orvis store and they saw her, their eyes lit up and they're like, that shouldn't happen, dude. Like you shouldn't be selling $8,000 to $10,000 worth of stuff to a woman, given it's gonna last her like years. But it's like if she's just trying to get into it, like like whatever it is, a Clearwater is gonna do the same thing that $4,000 Helios combo is gonna do.
100%.
And it's like given even like a Clearwater now, like a Clearwater combo is still like 280, $300.
Yeah.
But it's not $4,000. It's not adding a couple zeros onto that.
No.
But it's like, why is it that's like I get it, like Orvis is the only way like some place like some people know. And that's fine. But it's like the margin that they are putting on those waders is wild. And the boots. And
All of it.
half the stuff's made in like the same factory as Corker and they're still putting like 50 to $100 more markup on it. 95% of that stuff is all being made in the same factory, like you were saying a second ago.
Yeah.
Same damn factory.
Yep. And like I don't know, it makes sense, and if you like kind of like follow the trajectory of the fly fishing market, like it makes sense. Like they, all the other stuff, like the gear, like slowed down, so then they got into like more clothing and like
Yeah.
they just morphed into this like completely different business.
Yeah. You saw that.
Yeah.
You saw that heavy with Orvis, dude. Like if you walked into an Orvis store like last year to the like 3 years before that, usually it'd have like a pretty considerable sized like fly fishing section and they'd have like fly tying stuff, anything you needed, fulling mill, everything. And now you walk in there, it's like that that closed part is starting to creep farther and farther into that fishing section to where it's going to be like a literally like a section of a wall like that where they're and then like a couple rod racks, and that's going to stink because it's
I
like
mean,
oh,
they
that
closed down
shift is
half
going to be
their
wild.
stores.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like
why they probably had to close like 60 something stores this year. Like it stinks because honestly, like I do wear a bunch of Orvis stuff. Like I got like 4 or 5 Orvis vests that I've got as like gifts and stuff like that sitting in that closet back there, and I love them. And it's like it's nuts that they had to close 60 stores this year. You think a company like that will be just like raking in money hand over fist, especially when there's so many people getting into fly fishing every year. It is nuts.
it is, and I think it's because they've like been catering to this like very specific population,
Yes.
and it's like there's only so much purchasing power in that group
Yeah.
over decades. So I think it's like you are seeing it. Like I think they are starting to pivot to the
Yeah.
reality of the market. And I'm hoping I like come in, guns blazing, like,
Do it.
yeah, I mean, so that's, in terms of like the aesthetics and like the intended, market that I'm going after, it's this like very, very different kind of fly fishing. Like I'm going after like definitely like making it femme forward, queerer, more Latino,
Yeah.
more like people, more friendly for people of color, more fun, and just
Yeah.
like more durable. Like I think that's the other side. Like the first rod kit that I'm putting together, I actually chose fiberglass over carbon fiber because it's more durable.
Right.
You can beat the shit out of a fiberglass rod and it won't break, even though it's technically not stronger than carbon fiber. But like carbon fiber, you do have to be more careful with it. And
Oh
not
yeah.
every rod is built the same, but it's kind of like the more delicate it is, the more expensive it is, the more likely you have to be like very careful with it.
This is kind of like off the side of the fly fishing part of it. You look at 95% of the bass fishing rods built. I was big into bass fishing before like I'd bass fish fall and then spring and then winter, and like whenever I wasn't bass fishing I'd do that. I was on a tournament team in high school and college,
Well,
and all the rods are built out of carbon fiber. You sit there and you say clip your trolling motor with that carbon fiber rod, and then you pick it up to make another cast and there's like a ding in that rod,
oh,
there is a 9 out of 10 chance that that cast you're going to hear that horrible sound of and that rod is going to double over in two. It's happened to me way too many times to where then, like we were talking about earlier, it's sitting there. I'm like, well, I got to call over to this company to see if they'll honor my warranty, and they're like, oh no, you can send us $100 and then we'll also charge you for shipping. I was like, I might as well just go and buy a whole new damn rod.
pretty much.
But it's another thing like you were hitting on earlier, dude. The diversity of the sport is vastly changing, dude. Like, and it's really cool to see too. Like, you might just have a dude, you have like a dude now to where it's like, I love the Grateful Dead, but it's like there might be a dude down there that just wants to sit on the side of the river, fish, smoke a J, and fly fish and spend more on his weed than he does any of his equipment. And he can do that and still get pretty good equipment. And then
Yeah,
you see more companies like catering towards that kind of fisherman, which is really cool. Like you see it, and I think that's going to be more of a thing that gets more into this industry once weed starts getting legalized in more and more states.
yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of cool. It is cool to see. I
Yeah,
just
I
don't
mean,
really blow the fish whistle as much as I used to anymore.
fair.
But
I mean,
previously I did a lot.
yeah, I definitely dabble in the devil's cabbage for
Oh
sure.
yeah, the
And I mean,
devil's
that's like
lettuce.
that's part of it for me too. Is just like, like I like going out and it's like a relaxing thing. Who knows?
Exactly.
You and I think another part of it that has shifted for me was like spending more time down the shore
Yeah.
here in the Jersey Shore. Like my partner's family, they like vacation there every year. And so I go with them, and I'd be sitting on the beach and I'd just be like, there's fish right there.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, not fishing right now.
Yeah.
Like, I knew fly fishing like way better than I knew like spin casting or like bait casting or other or like bait fishing. Um, so I went and but I was like, I wouldn't even know how to begin fly fishing. Like, I need to like figure out what's even here, and so I went and for years I had two spin casting rods that I would take to the shore. Like, even though I'd still fly fish like for trout and stuff, I'd take the spin casters, and I started getting really good at targeting fluke, like
Yeah.
just like right in that first trough, and they're so tasty, and like they're fun to catch, and
Oh yeah.
they're like weird and interesting. And
It is a weird looking fish that a lot of people don't understand how weird those fluke actually are.
did you know that they start having when they're fries, their eyes are on either side of their head,
Did
and
not
then
know that.
they flatten out, like their eyes migrate. So one eye
Interesting.
migrates to the top of their head.
What
Like
the
they're
hell?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is nuts. I never knew that, dude. That's a good trivia question right there.
Good
Now,
fish.
as a man that spends a decent amount of time at bar trivia, I might have to keep that
Mm.
in the trivia bank back there.
Well, here's another thing to consider about fluke that I think makes them much more appetizing. As like, I mean, they're delicious, obviously, but like they eat their diet is predominantly like small crabs.
Yeah. Little fiddler
So,
crabs.
so you're like when you're eating a fluke, you're basically eating like reconstituted crab meat into the form of like a fish.
Never thought about it like that.
And it explains to me why they're so yummy. I'm like, well, if all you're eating is crab, it's like those pigs that only eat like chestnuts or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, and their meat tastes like nuts. It's like, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense now.
Dude,
And
and it is something that is very interesting you say that, dude, is because, like, I used to do a lot of duck hunting in college and stuff like that. And you do get, like, especially in, like, fish, pigs, and stuff like that, you do get a hint of the taste of their appetite, too, when you're eating that stuff. Like, we used to kill geese all the time, dude, and you could tell the difference between, like, a saltwater goose and a freshwater goose because you get, like, a little bit more saltiness in those
mm,
saltwater geese. It's crazy.
that makes
I'm
sense.
I do not recommend eating goose though. Dude, it's so tough to cook and like it is
Never.
so dude, it sucked. We had to soak it in buttermilk for like hours on
Oh,
end.
God.
Dude, it was so bad.
Oh,
But it was
man.
like, you know what? It was edible. I mean,
Yeah,
but I
good.
just we start like if we do kill geese, God forbid, we just do it like pastrami now. And even that's
Oh,
hard to even prepare it.
yeah, I can see that actually.
I haven't duck hunted or goose hunted in like the last 5 years anyway. Dude, it's so bad around here, dude. Like it's like good to see like the younger generation getting into the outdoors, but it's like that group of like kids from like 16 to 20 dude, are just absolute menaces out there right now, and it's wild to see where they'll set up like two, like literally like 20 yards from you and start shooting ducks over your head, and you're getting peppered with their
Mm,
shot, and I'm like, man. So I looked
yeah.
at my buddy one day. I was like, man, I'm about done with this shit, man. I've been peppered like 4 times today. I was like, not happening next weekend. I was like, I'm putting my gun in the closet, and I am not getting out here to duck hunt the rest of the season. And that's what I did. I haven't duck hunted. My waders are in like a trash bag
Wow.
behind my bed right here, and I haven't taken them out. And I'm pretty sure they're leaking.
Mm.
But yeah, dude. So this is a kind of a question. What's one thing that you plan to offer that other um fly shops like kind of in that Philadelphia area, the Pennsylvania area don't offer?
I mean, the main thing is I'm trying to get the most affordable gear for entry level folks
That's
that like
perfect.
looks good and like feels good, and it has like a high performance, more from like a durability perspective. Like,
Yeah.
the intent with the rod kit is definitely something give you something that will like last you your lifetime.
Yeah.
Um, that is like your all around beater. Like the thing you give to your friend once you get your next rod. Like
Yeah.
that. that's the type of gear I would like to be making.
Yeah.
I'm also a designer, so like there's the bar is low on the design front, in terms of just like what the gear looks like, and I think that's like a huge opportunity that I'm excited about. So
Yeah. That's
making things that
awesome,
are like
dude.
cooler looking, that it's like you're excited to like just touch the thing, and like that is enough,
Yeah.
like be out with like something that you really like, instead of
Yeah.
something that like works, which is good too, but it's like I'm more interested in people sort of like having an emotional attachment to like the thing, because they like how it looks, and like how it feels, because
Yeah.
especially for entry level, you don't know enough to know anything other than that.
Yeah. Dude,
um
and I think something that's cool too is like you've been seeing it a lot where like more of these companies are starting to get designers to like design these waders that are really cool. Like I know I think I forget who it was, but I think it was like Nike and a wader company did a collab, like, and Drake was in like the Drake magazine
yeah.
in like a
Oh,
pair of waders that were like Nocta waders. But it's like that's cool stuff because it's like how I looked about it. I played football and stuff like that when I was a kid, and it's like why like people are like, oh, why are you spending $250 on a pair of cleats? It's like what? I feel good in them. I look like it's the thing that Deion Sanders used to say: look good, play good, feel good, or something like that. And it's like
yeah.
that's true. It's like it's so true. It's like,
Yeah.
what? When I'm out there and I got like a fit on and I'm like kind of balling, I'm like, man, I feel good right now. I feel confident. I feel like I catch every single fish in this creek.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's like there's that element of fashion that I do think is like worth going back to, that kind of like
Yeah.
Victorian era fashion thing, where it's like, you know, they're like, so like they're in design, there are two types of beauties.
Yeah.
There's like a, kind of design theory thing. They call it positive and negative beauty. So negative beauty is something that's like inherently beautiful
Yeah.
in the material of itself. So like a gem, or like fine wood grain, or like something that just like it's itself is beautiful.
Yeah.
Then there's positive beauty, which is more fashion, which is like you find it appealing because of the context, and like whatever is happening within like your environment in terms of fashion. It's like it's cool because of it being different, or being the same,
Yeah.
or being a different color, or or whatever, or being adaptable to you customizing it. And so that's like, in terms of a differentiator for the gear, like that's definitely like built into the ethos of what I'm trying to make, is just like self-expression being part of the experience, especially
Yeah.
when you're starting out. It's like I want people to be excited and be like I want people to like look at the gear and be like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, and then find out that it's for fly fishing or something like that.
That's pretty cool too, dude. Like, I feel that's something too. Like, I've had this conversation with a few people, dude. Like, I wear a lot of jerseys. I wear like a bunch of stuff. Like, I have stuff I think is cool because somebody might not look at it and be like, dude, that is so cool. It's like, you know what? Like, where'd you get those? Like, I'm a big like you remember when Nike came out with the Vanderland SBs and they had like a fly in the Nike.
Yeah, I have them.
Dude, yeah.
I
I
wear those all
love
the time.
those.
I love
And
them too.
yeah, I got a pair too. I got them like literally a few weeks ago. I've been trying to find a pair, dude, because it's like, you go on StockX and you can't find them under like $400 in a size 12. It's
Oh,
nuts, dude. Like all those SBs that had like cutthroat patterns on them and stuff like that. That like the resale value on it isn't wild now. But it's
oh,
like I got those ones. I found them on eBay size 12 for like given they're lightly used. I got them for like $60. And I was
yeah.
like, beautiful. I saw them. I had them in the back of my car, and one of my buddies came to go fly fishing with me a few weeks back. He's like, those are pretty sweet, dude. He's like, I wouldn't rock them, but that's definitely like something like that's right up your alley. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, but it's like having that different stuff and that different kind of like, I hate saying it this way because I sound like I'm in high school again, like that different kind of swagger to you
Yeah.
is something that I love. It's like somebody might
Yeah.
think it's stupid, but I'm like, you know what? I think that's pretty sick.
Right. I mean, that's like kind of like that's what fashion allows you to do.
Yeah.
And you can think of fashion in like so many different ways. Like because like I teach at Drexel and I often teach in the fashion and merchandising department. Because I'll get these like students who are in it's basically like the business of the fashion industry.
Yeah.
And what I started to realize about fly fishing gear in particular is that like I would look at I still do it now. Like I'll look at pictures of myself and I'm like, okay, like the way that I dress like out in the world is like very different than when I put my fly gear on. And it's like what it started to feel like was like I'm like dressing in like fly drag, like I'm like dressing like an old man with like a felt hat and like a drab vest. Like I'm like this is not the shit that I would if I was like at the store. If there was an option that was anything but this, I would pick that. And I think that's like you see that with like the women's versions of waders or like whatever the gear is. It's like they just like
Yeah.
make it pink or put a pink thing on it and like call it women's.
Yeah.
It's not actually like it's not different. It's just like the same gear with like a little bit like
I've seen it a lot recently with like they'll put like instead of pink it'll be like kind of like a baby blue
just
and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's women's waders." I'm like, "That's a pair of the same waders that you're offering to men that are like $200 cheaper with like a little bit of a girlier blue on it."
yep.
And it's wild. It's like,
It
well,
is.
can I go and buy that pair of light blue waders for $200 less and get away with?
Yes, you can.
You can.
No, I'm
That
just saying you can.
Yeah,
Like, if
I
you want
might. Hell, I might just start buying women's Patagonia waders. And so it's like when I bring them in to get them repaired, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm confused." Like, yeah, it's $200 cheaper. I'm gonna take that $200 and buy a new rod with it.
right, like, and to me, there's kind of like, I mean, you do what you're comfortable with, and it's
Yeah,
like, at the end of the day, I think that's like the other thing I've been interested in is like bringing, like, knowing where the market's growing, knowing the much more diverse group of people who are like trying fly fishing.
yeah.
There's just like so much opportunity to be disruptive.
Oh yeah,
Um, And another differentiator in terms of like a retail location that I keep thinking about now is that like I actually don't want to have a fly fishing exclusive shop. Like I think it would be much cooler to have like flies and bait and
yeah.
lure and
It's like an all
spinnerbait.
around.
Yeah, and like I mean my passion is going to be like the fly fishing part of it, but like there just isn't even a fishing shop anywhere nearby.
Yeah,
Like so there are going to be people that are going to come in and like don't know shit about fly fishing, but like have their own gear
yeah.
and have like bait gear and like are going to want to like hit the water. I want to be able to accommodate that.
Oh
So
yeah, dude. And I think you're starting to see like especially here, I'm starting to see a bunch of these shops put like a few walls of like bass fishing stuff on there. Like I got a buddy that runs Hendersonville Outfitters up here in Western North Carolina, and he has a fantastic shop. His name's shoot, why is his name blanking me? He's like a really good buddy of mine. That's my ADD getting to me.
nice.
But he has a shop up there, really good location, and he has some awesome stuff. He carries like all that cheeky stuff and all the loop rods and stuff like that. And he just like he has a wall of just awesome bass fishing stuff.
Yep.
And it's like the stuff that's gonna get you by and stuff like that. It's the basics like bread and butter stuff, but it's like still it's good to have that selection of people that walk in there and they're not like gung ho about fly fishing, you know?
Yeah.
Because like having a little bit of selection for everybody, I think that's just smart business.
I think it is, and I think it starts to break down the illusion of fly fishing being so exclusive.
Right.
Like like I think there's a lot of people who are afraid to get into it or even look into it
Yeah.
because they feel like it's not for them. And I think
Right.
that's like a huge spectrum of people actually. Like
Yes.
and I think it's like there are a lot of people who fish who fish, who are lifelong, anglers,
Yeah.
who feel like it's just never been for them because it's like it's too elitist or whatever,
Yeah.
And I think that's like,
Sorry about that.
no, you can-
I've talked to a lot of people. You might have heard from a lot of people about this too, like in your journey with this. I know a bunch of people that are like deathly afraid to walk into a fly shop.
yeah,
Deathly afraid.
it's like
Because
going to a
like
comic book store.
yeah, dude, like it's crazy to where like and I could understand why, dude. Like it's tough. Like it took me for like a while to be like, you know what? I have the full confidence to walk into a fly shop and like ask questions and like strike up conversation with people. And it's like, I think a lot of this stuff needs to be more like, like how you're saying, accommodating and like
Yeah.
not as intimidating to like walk into, because it's like, you walk into like some of these shops and it's just like you could hear a pin drop in that joint. You could hear a rat fart in the corner and like nobody speaking or anything like that. They won't even acknowledge you when you walk in.
Right,
And it's
right.
like that's something that like took me a long time to get through, and it's taken like a bunch of people a while to do that. And like that's kind of what I'm trying to put together here is like I saw like one of my buddies from Florida just had like last night like a fly fishing social where he had a bunch of people get together at a brewery. They drank some beers, hung out, talked fishing and stuff like that. Like do like a fly tying night or something, and just be like super inviting about it.
Yeah.
And be like, you know what? Like more people need to have a community like you're building, like what Hunter's trying to build over there at Blue Hen. Having having a community where it's so inviting and really like anybody can feel willing to be like, hey man, like I want to come to your fly tying night and hang out and drink maybe 7 to 8 beers with ties of flies with you and all these dudes and just like have a few friends. Make it so
Yeah.
that it's like get like a big table. More shit like that needs to go down. And what you're building is like perfect for that, man. Like
Yeah.
it just needs to be it like I think it just needs to be a more inclusive sport all in general. Like
Definitely.
nobody should be afraid to walk into a fly shop and ask questions and inquire about like where can like you don't have to like walk in and be like you don't have to give me any like mapped out like longitude and latitude line spots. Like I just want to go out there, hang out, and catch one or two fish. And
Well, oh
it's
yeah, good.
it's crazy how somebody will be like, I'm not going to tell you. But
Yeah, like the secrecy of it. I mean,
yeah, I understand part of it, but
I do too, and I've been sworn to secrecy about different spots and stuff,
yeah,
and I'll always respect that. Um, but I think now that we're talking about it, like it's funny because I think I felt the same way going into a bait shop,
yeah,
like and I still kind of feel the same way. Like there is like a type. It is like that comic book store kind of thing. There's this like the information is the sort of like gate that's kept. It's
yeah.
like, and then there's judgment. Like there's a lot of judgment.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's odd or unusual to meet someone in any kind of fishing shop who's gonna be like open and friendly and kind and nice and just like accommodating, unless
Yeah,
they know you already.
yeah, dude, and
And
it's nuts. It's so nuts. My bad. Sorry, I cut you off. Keep going.
I mean, I guess like you know there's that pressure that is just unfortunate because to me the whole purpose of this stuff, like and I think this is like another I would say a minor difference, and not even minor, it's kind of major, like a big difference between bait fishing and fly fishing, at least in my mind, because I do both and I love both,
Yeah,
and I do them for sort of like different reasons, and sometimes the same reason. Like sometimes I just need to go clear my head and like whatever is there, I'll grab and I'm just gonna go and like do it because that's what I got.
yeah,
But like most of the time when I'm bait fishing, like I'm trying to catch land and eat something.
yeah,
And most of the time with fly fishing, I'm not. I'm like I'm kind of like going knowing that it's like a high likelihood that I'm not going to catch anything. It's going to be a lot harder to do it, and that's kind of part of it. Is like
Yeah.
challenge of it is sort of is part of the interesting thing, and I think that's where it's like, to me, one is like more in, and I'm talking more about like my experience and like how I view fishing. I'm not trying to like say that this is like the way,
No, you're good.
but it's like for me, it's like I love bait fishing because of how accessible it is.
Yeah.
Because like, most people can kind of figure that out, pretty quickly. And it's
Yeah.
like, even when I take, especially when I take someone out fishing and they've never fly fished before, like I am always bringing a spin rod with me
Yeah,
as
just
a
in
backup.
case.
Because it's like, you got to put in a little bit of time to like kind of figure it out,
Yeah.
It's like, and there is a part of that that I think is intimidating, that there is technique involved, and it is different in that way. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
there's no shame, like the purity of the like. There are these like fly fishing purists that like, I'm just like fuck off with that shit. Like
Yeah.
right now I really want to go after catfish, actually, like on the fly. Like I'm
Yeah,
like
dude, I've been thinking about the same thing.
and I think I'm gonna like bring some garlic oil with me and like stink my flies up, because like I'm just interested to see if they'll even go for it. And they're
Yeah.
so smell sensitive, and it's like I don't really feel I don't feel any kind of way about doing that. For whatever reason, I still feel weird about hitting the squirmy worm. Like it it feels, I don't want to say it feels like cheating, but it feels like not why I'm doing it, I
Yeah.
guess.
Dude, I
But
feel like
I'll throw
that.
one on when I get desperate. I will throw
Oh yeah, dude. I feel like that with a mop fly. I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna go out and be like, you know what, the first thing, like I took my buddy who went fly fishing for the first time the other week. And I showed up, I had 2 rods rigged with a damn mop fly. I was just like, you know what, this is the easiest thing to learn to cast. And it's honestly like you might catch a couple fish on it. Like usually if I want to go out and hit a delayed harvest stream and catch fish and I have somebody that hasn't fished a bunch, mop fly is the first thing I'm throwing on that rod.
it.
But if I'm fishing myself, I'm not going to go out with like 6 rods literally rigged to the gills with mop flies. I'm not going out to literally just catch fish on a mop fly every day. I'm like, you know what? I might have one with like a hopper dropper. I might have one with just like solo dry fly. And then it's like, you know what? If I'm shit in the bed, then I'll break out a squirmy worm or a mop fly. And
Yeah,
then it'll be like, you know what? At least I got the skunk out of the boat. I might have caught on a fucking squirmy wormy, but it's like, still caught one.
yeah. And like I'm on the longest skunk streak of my life this very moment. Like I think I've gone out 13 times and have not hooked up on anything.
Dude, the
Uh,
weather's got them all weird right now, man. Like, even
yeah.
down here, the day I got the flu, I uh, I knew I was getting it the night before, and I knew by the time I was over it, I was gonna have to go back to work from like our little Christmas break. And I was like, you know what? I don't care if it kills me. I'm gonna go fly. I'm gonna go fishing tomorrow, and at least just try and get out there.
Yeah.
And went and dude, like I didn't catch a damn thing. I was sitting there. I was like, I'm about to go batshit insane. Like, I'm out here. It's windy. It's cold as hell, and I'm in a stream I've never been to before because it's blowing 50 miles an hour up in Boone, and it's negative 16 degrees. It's like not the thing I wanted to be doing on like the day before New Year's Eve. I wanted to be like up on like a native stream soaking like a literally a size 22 zebra midge chasing wild fish. But now I'm down fishing on a spillway in the middle of Wilkesboro at lower elevation trying to catch a holdover stalker on a damn mop fly.
Which, like, again, there's no shame in it. Like,
No.
and it reminds me, and I do have to actually like wrap up.
No,
I
that's fine,
forgot.
dude.
I kind of lost track of time.
I did too.
But it reminds me of like anytime someone, like, anytime I meet someone now and I tell them I'm into fly fishing in South Philly, in Philadelphia, like I fly fish all over the city of Philadelphia. The reaction I always get is like, where? Like, where are you fly fishing in Philly? And my answer is like, if there's water and fish,
I'll be
I'm
there.
gonna try to catch them. Like
Yeah.
I don't care if it's like in the Navy Yard or like in like a hazardous waste area or whatever. It's like, or like there are all these like old factory areas that have,
Yeah.
like, run through them. But it's just like there's fish everywhere. Like there's fish in the sewer. Like there are so many streams in the city of Philadelphia, like under the pavement, that have been put in culverts
Yeah.
that like have full habitats and have since the dawn of time.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're connected to the waterway. So it's like you got channel catfish like going in there because they've always lived there, even if it's like pitch black and concrete.
Yeah, dude. I'll shoot you a really cool show that pro fisherman actually from Jersey filmed. It was like
the sewer guy.
Yeah, dude, it was Mike Iaconelli, the dude that screams everywhere. Have you watched his show, like Fishing in Wild Places, where he just goes to like New Orleans and stuff and is catching like gar in the middle of Bourbon Street? Such a crazy show, but it's so cool.
But I like love that because
Me too.
When I moved to Philly, actually, like my first job in Philly was designing zoos and like zoo habitats and like
That's badass.
That whole experience. And like one thing that I learned when I was working there is that like the people that run that firm, like they have this whole ethos that like there's really no such thing as wild, and like we like to think of ourselves like the concept of wild is this like separation between like humans and everything else.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what that word means, right? It's like it's untouched by humans, and like the reality of living on a planet is that like there's nothing that humans do that doesn't affect all other species. And like the most obvious way that you see that is like sort of like as forests get encroached on, the urban areas that are replacing them, like all those animals aren't just like disappearing. They're finding somewhere in the urban environment to exist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The row home I live in South Philly, like, is full of critters because I like see them. Like
Yeah.
There's mice and I see raccoons out back, and there's possum all over here, and it's just like there's deer. Like I can go 5 minutes down the road here, across from where the Eagles play, and there's like deer in the field, like right there.
Yeah.
So it's like we'd like to think that we live so separately from all of these different species, but like urban environments, and I think that's like part of this brand too. Like a lot of the stuff that I've been designing is like streetwear crossover.
Yeah. That's a big thing
like,
right now too. Streetwear.
Yeah, like I want people to fly fish in the city. There's like so much opportunity in every in every urban area. There's opportunity to fly fish.
I'm actually planning on filming a urban fishing like legit like video this year in Uptown Charlotte.
Hell yeah.
And I'm hoping it's gonna be sick. It's gonna have like a couple badass drone shots and shit, but it's one of those things that's like far off right now because it's like 2026 just started, and I wrote down my goals yesterday.
Okay.
But
important to start there for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. So how I wrap up, this is my last question, is the 5 songs. I have a running playlist that all my guests contribute to. 5 songs, and I do 5 songs. And you can go first, or I can go first.
Well, I'm also a playlist guy, so
I make playlists all the time.
I have my Baker's Dozen from 2025.
Hell yeah.
All right, I'll give you my first one would be "Driving My Life Away" by Eddie Rabbitt.
Great song. All right, "Driving My Life Away." Eddie Rabbitt. Got it. That's the first one.
What you got?
So, dude, this is a wild one. I do like a lot of people wouldn't expect this out of me. I've been heavy on that new Olivia Dean album. Heavy. Dude, Olivia Dean's the shit. You heard that TikTok song? It's like she's on it. It's like, "Come be the man I need." It's super, super like catchy song. I've been on that. It's a song "A Couple Minutes" by Olivia Dean is my first one.
Okay.
Dude, super girly song, but it's like, I'll do like that's my kind of
Yeah,
stuff right there.
yeah.
Dude,
Uh, all right,
I'm a
what's
big Sabrina Carpenter guy too.
Yeah, I like her.
I do
She has
too.
some good music. Well, here's a good one. "Ready or Not" by Shaky Graves and Sierra Farrell.
Oh, dude,
Sierra,
Sierra Farrell's awesome.
I've been listening to her a lot. I really, really, really like her a lot.
Yeah, dude. Which one was it? Shaky Graves.
Yeah, "Ready or Not" is the
Oh
name of
yeah,
the song.
dude. Yeah, she's awesome. Um, let's see, Shaky Graves, Sierra Farrell. Got it. All right. My second, Against the Wind, Bob Seger.
Ooh,
Freaking love Bob
classic.
Seger.
Dude, I do too. You know what? That makes me want to give you another Bob Seger one. I'll make my third one. "Night Moves" is like
Oh hell yeah, dude.
all time favorite song. Like not like, I don't know if it's my number one, but it's like it's up. It's on the list high up.
Oh yeah, dude. That one. Have you seen that new dude? He's on Instagram all the time. He just goes around to bars and he asks the bartender to play Bob Seger songs, and if they do, he gives them this like certified Seger bar sticker. Dude, it's my favorite Instagram trend. Me and my buddy are planning to go out to literally like a handful of bars in like a couple weeks and just walk around and just start asking them to play Bob Seger and make our own certified Seger bar list in Charlotte.
That is so funny. I love that. I've
Yeah,
never heard.
dude. It's so funny. I'll send you one of the clips. Let's see what my other one is. I've completely forgot what my other ones were. Yeah, dude, this is like a 600 song playlist.
Whoa.
It's wild. I might have put some of that new that Left Hand Free song from what's it called? What's that damn show on Netflix? Outer Banks.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
It's by Alt J.
Oh, I
Um,
love All J. He's
yeah,
really good.
super good song. And then you're on 4, aren't you?
On four, yeah.
Okay.
You know, this dude, I think I found him on Instagram, and this song is just like haunting in a really good way. It's called "If You Know Me" by Hudson Freeman.
Let's see. Hudson Freeman. Sweet. Got him. I'm gonna have to listen to that one. I haven't heard of him.
That one's really good. It's a really, really good song.
So my third one, fellow Philly guy. I like his new album. I'm not a huge fan of the dude himself. The new Zach Bryan, Runny Eggs, is a good one.
To check that one out.
Dude, Zach Bryan has some fantastic music. He's a big Birds fan. I think he's from Philly or something like that. But like he's caught up in like scandals online all the time.
Uh,
Just like one of those guys. Awesome music, but like kind of
yeah,
a piece of shit.
gotta separate the art from the artist. That's all right.
Yeah, hey, if he makes good music and isn't a piece of shit to me, I am fine.
All right, well then I'll give you. I think this kind of fits the theme of our conversation. Let's say the name of this title. The track is called "I Hate Rich Cunts," and it's by this artist Mudrat.
Damn, there it is. Mudrat, dude. We used to call this kid, funny enough, dude, we had this buddy in dang middle school that we used to call Mudrat.
Mudrat.
Yeah, dude, he used to go and dive for catfish in my buddy's pond. We used to literally come up covered in mud, but he'd have like a 32-pound catfish in his hands. We just started calling him Mudrat. Wild dude. Cool dude though. My last one, this is actually a rap song. Yosemite by Travis Scott.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah. But I got all those on the playlist. And dude, I greatly appreciate you coming on today, brother. Dude, that was an awesome conversation.
Yeah, man. Likewise. Thank you so much for having me. This was super cool.
No problem,
Totally.
dude. I'm sorry I took up an hour and 28 minutes of your time, dude, but I think that was a really good conversation that some people needed to hear.
Well, and my parting thought is like the point of fly fishing is to like be somewhere where there might be fish to catch,
Yeah,
and like trying to form core memories for myself with with myself or like with other people. I think it's like it's kind of all about those core memories, and it's a really good vehicle for making those.
I agree, dude. Dude, that is awesome. But thank you again, man. I'm going to click stop here, and we're going to let some tracks upload. Shouldn't be too long. What's up, guys? That was Mr. Eli with Byway Fly Co. What an awesome episode. Really, really cool. You'll probably see the part where my headphones break. I was going to try and Zap-A-Gap them or UV resin them, and just wouldn't work. But that's the episode. Really cool guy. Really, really cool thing he's got going on there. And until Tuesday, I will see you guys on the next episode. We got a few really cool episodes coming up.